patron royal family, King Kamehameha IV Alexander Liholiholani, his beloved wife Queen Emma Kalareonalani, and of course their young Kiki, young Prince Albert Kawi Kiaoli. Huli. Oh, now, Kahalamekalehu, Halelehu, no, Yanakano. O ka uno ia e anu ine eli ane o yo ka hiki mai. Hiki mai no ko ai ti puno me te alo. Aloha O na I ka hala me ka le ua he halele ua no ia na kanoe. O ta uno ia e anu ine eli ane o yo ka hiki mai. Hiki mai no o ko hiki no me te alo aloha aloha Nestled between the two mountain ranges on this island, the Waianae Range and the Ko'olau Range is a very significant and sacred place known as Kukaniloko. Kukaniloko houses the birthing stones of many of Oahu Island kings and queens. Here's a chant that first appeared in the Hawaiian language newspaper Ku'oko'a in May of 1925, written by John Holani Hao. No Kukaniloko Ku'aloha.
No Kukaniloko Ku'aloha ke kupanoho kula kalakoa. Kai hanau I o nā ali hoi hoi a o hawatane. No Kukaniloko Ku'aloha ke kupanoho kula kalakoa. Kai hanau I o nā ali hoi hoi a o hawatane. Kuika mai kai kuika lana kini. Wale ki kuile a hile hoko ki pano ka malihini. Apa amai ukai ka uhi vai o ki hau anu ki kuwa hini. Kuika mai kai kuika lana kini. Ale haling mai ala ke ala o malino
once king of this island, Kapuhihewa, the name of the sacred birthing stones known as Kukaniloko. Aloha, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the International Marketplace and the show Onalani. It's wonderful to be here on this land because this land is owned by royalty. I'll tell you a little bit more about that this evening. The International Marketplace sits on sacred land called Kalua'okau. Kalua'okau was once owned by King Kamehameha the Great and then passed down to another who would be King William Charles Lunalilo. At his death, this property then was passed down to our beloved Queen. And much of Waikiki, and especially Kalua'okau, was intended for its residents to enjoy an R&R, rest and relaxation. And sadly, tragedy would strike. Our Queen would lose her son at age 4, the future hope as the King of Hawaii. The grieving mother our Queen was, she gave herself a new name. She called herself Kalaleokalani, which means the flight of the Royal One. And sadly, just 15 months later, our Queen lost her husband and Hawaii lost its king in the passing of Kamehameha V. Still grieving the loss of her son, she took the name she gave herself, Kalaleokalani, and modified it to Kalaleonalani, the flight of the Royal Ones. It was her strength and it was the support and aloha from her people that helped her through such difficult times.
Ma Coco. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, wale oe ka o manu leo na he o ka uka. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, wale oe ka o manu leo na he o ka uka. No ka ke ala ilia hi ka hiko i ka launa au. No ka ke ala ilia hi ka hiko i ka launa au. Wana we mai oe I ane I a kau I ke ano ahi ahi. Wana we mai oe I ane I a kau I ke ano ahi ahi. Huli hoi hanaya ka malama ia iho ke aloha. Huli hoi hanaya ka malama ia iho ke aloha.
Her people call to their queen, "Where are you, O sweet-voiced bird of the forest? In the upland, the fragrance of the sandalwood perfumes the leaves of the trees. Return to your home where you can find love. May love be your constant companion. This is our praise, and may all hear the name, Emalani."
Haina kapuana ilohe ia o e malani no he inoa. Haina kapuana ilohe ia o e malani no he inoa. E ala e ala e a ie. Hei noa no kalele o nalani.
Hey, no Kalaleonalani, in the name of Kalaleonalani, our Queen. Once again, aloha, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the International Marketplace here in Kalua'okau, Waikiki Kai. Aloha. Aoia, elilona de la oia o. Ahana, o naonala, o umakai anei e kai po. Waine ui, he ui o kawahine leo hone, e manuleo e ai o ki kuwahiri. Na oi, na oi, e waheo. Kapana ola ina o hiki, na ua no kou nui kino na aloha hini wale no. E oia uhu e hana kau. Ia oi ulu nei puwai e I ala weha aliloa le no oia. Once again, welcome. We are here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this show called Onalani. And it honors the legacy of our beloved Queen, Queen Emma Kalaleonalani, who is the owner of a trust that owns the land on which the shopping center sits. And it's so important to pay tribute to these folks. We have a lot of great activities here, restaurants, stores, and a lot more culture, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. But aloha and welcome to all of you. It's just an Hawaiian custom. When I say aloha, it's just an old Hawaiian song. When I say that I love you too, I'd love to sing for you a plaintive melody. I'd give a lady to you to make you happy. It's just an old Hawaiian custom. When I say aloha to you, when I say aloha to you, alilona, alilona, Welcome to Waikiki. You know, Waikiki means sprouting or percolating water. And the word vai is so important to us. It's, well, that blessing sent from Kiakua above that rains down and becomes something so important to us. Vai, fresh water, the life-giving resource. You're gonna find many place names in Hawaii that have the word vai in them because of its importance to us. Here in Waikiki, there were many springs in this area prior to the dredging of the Alawai Canal in 1920, and hence the name Waikiki. The water rains from the heavens above into the valley above called Manoa, and then it goes into the water table and comes right here in Waikiki. Here's a song that was written by Dr. Kimo Alama Keulana. It's called Nani o Manoa, and our lovely ladies will dance for you. Now, you might have known that the international marketplace is older than it looks. There was an actual older international marketplace that stood here for many, many decades. And this one here is about 7 years old now. And if you remember the older international marketplace, you'll remember one of Hawaii's probably hottest nightclubs. And it was called Duke Kahanamoku's nightclub, located not too far from where I stand. And it honored the hero of the water. His name was Duke Pao Kahanamoku. He was born across the street at a home called Haleakala. Now the Duke's prowess was everything in the water, from swimming, surfing, diving, and paddling. So much so that he was invited to 5 Olympic Games, of which he earned bronze, silver, and gold medals. Now, something important is after he was done with the Olympics, he was making movies in Hollywood. He actually made about 100 movies, most of them unaccredited because of, unfortunately at those times, the color of his skin. While the Duke was sitting on the beach one day in Hollywood or in California, he witnessed a ship began to sink. Without hesitation, the Duke grabbed his board, went out and rescued 8 people from a perilous fate. Some people were not so lucky that day, but those 8 were. Mahalo to the Duke. Now, the reason I tell you this story is not because a Duke did it, but it's because from that day on, lifeguards around the world began using surfboards to aid them in their rescues. Well, looks like our junior Dukes are ready to celebrate the legacy of Duke Kahanamoku. They will do so with a song called Duke Kahanamoku, written by Uncle Saul K. Bright.
Grandfather Neptune awards the golden medal. Duke Kahanamoku, the crown you'll always wear. King of swimmers, famous of the sea. Mermaid beauties keep him company. So, Duke Kahanamoku, the pride of all Hawaii, surfing on an ahu, appearing like a manu. You would think a moment you wore a feather garment. Oh yeah, no, it's Hawaii. Duke Kahanamoku, the idol of Hawaii, swimming in the ocean without the slightest notion that he'd become the lana throughout the Kumonua. Oh yeah, no, it's Hawaii. King Kamehameha, conquer the island grew. Duke Kahanamoku, he simply conquered all the waters and became the king of swimmers. Oh, Duke Kahanamoku, the pride of all Hawaii, surfing on a lanu, appearing like a manu. You would think a moment he wore a feather garment. Oh yeah, no, it's Hawaii. King Kamehameha, conquer the island grew. Duke Kahanamoku, he simply conquered all the waters and became the king of swimmers. Conquered all the waters and became the king of swimmers. Oh, Duke Kahanamoku, the pride of all Hawaii, surfing on the Nauvoo, appearing like a manu. You would think a moment he wore a feather garment. Oh yeah, no, it's Hawaii. Oh yeah, no, it's Hawaii.
Oya noe oi. That means he was the greatest. Well, you know, when the Duke returned to Honolulu, he became the sheriff of Honolulu. A post he was elected and re-elected to 7 times until his passing on January 22nd, 1968. Now, so many people ask, wow, I'd really love to see what the Duke looked like. So after you're done with your shopping and you're eating tonight, you can make your way outside toward the beach, and once you hit Kalakaua Avenue, you go this way, and you'll see the Duke statue, his arms open wide, welcoming you to his beach. When the Duke returned to Honolulu, there also was a new genre of music. It was called Hapa Haole music. Hapa meaning part, Haole meaning not Hawaiian. It was the essence of Hawaiian music with English lyrics. Sometimes that was disastrous, but sometimes they led to beautiful ballads of love and of Hawaii. Let's take a peek into that magical time of Hapa Haole music here in Hawaii. All the time in the tropical clime where they do the hula hula dance. I fell in love with this tropical dove while learning the funny dance. This little kid, why she never did a bit of loving before. So I made up my mind that I'd break a fight with the only girl that I would adore. Well, I love the pretty little Hapa Haole hula girl with her naughty little wiggle. Hula girl, she can surely make you giggle. Hula girl with her naughty little love me every Sunday. I'm gonna make this little Hapa Haole girlie of mine, girlie of mine. All the time I'm dreaming of her, Hapa Haole hula girl. I wonder where my surf she rides upon, and I searched for her as far as I could see. She flew to the east and she flew to the west. Oh, I'll get no rest until I find her back in my little grass shack. Hey, I wonder where my little hula girl has gone. She's no longer on the beach at Hawaii. We should be together in a little hula heaven beside the silvery sea. So gay and free together in a little hula heaven under cocoa tree. Days will be lazy and sweetly crazy. Skies will grow hazy above. We're all alone together, just you and I in a little bit of heaven, living our dream of love. Well, I love a pretty little hop on a hula girl, never not a little wiggle. Hula girl, she can surely make you giggle. Hula girl, well, not a little hop, maybe someday I'm gonna make this little hop on a girlie of mine, girlie of mine. All the time I'm dreaming of her, hop on a hula girl. All the time I'm dreaming of her, hop on a hula girl. All the time I'm dreaming of her, hop on a hula girl. Oh yeah! Mahalo, ladies. Mahalo. You know, it was Dorothy Lamour that introduced Hawaii to the cellophane hula skirt. What's that? Ote'a Festival drums, Tahitian Ote'a Festival drums. You know that if you were coming to the International Marketplace in the old International Marketplace and you were walking up or down Kalakaua or Kuhio Avenues, you hear this drumming from the outside and it would drive you in. You'd enter out of curiosity, you want to see the source of the drumming. When you got in here, you'd find a new fabulous flair and flavor of, well, Hawaii and Polynesia. There was hula, of course, there was Tahitian dancing, Tahitian drumming, there was Samoan fire knife dancing. It was so exciting. A lot of visitors, even locals came. The visitors, however, started to think all that dancing was Hawaiian. And although we'd love to take credit, we give credit to where credit is due. Our cousins of Polynesia, Tahiti, Samoa, etc. In fact, in our culture, in our language, it's good, we say this. We the people of Polynesia are one family. And for this reason, we continue to celebrate their cultures. You know, speaking of culture, there's a lot more culture added to this newer international marketplace that opened about 7 years ago. In fact, you'll see a lot of signage at all levels talking about this place, Kaluokau, before we were even thought about. In fact, when the shopping center was designed, the courtyards, there were 3 courtyards designed. The upper one there, it's called the Mauka in 2 words means upland, Mauka courtyard, and that celebrates vai, fresh water, the life-giving spirit for us. Then the Makai or seaside courtyard is called the Banyan courtyard, and that celebrates that age-old banyan tree that still stands there today. Imagine how much history it's seen. Perhaps you, or your parents, or your grandparents came here before and took pictures with that, or saw at least, the tree. So maybe after the show tonight, you can spend some time, give your aloha to that tree. And then we're in the Queen's Courtyard, of course, honoring the beloved Queen Emma Kalaleonalani. You'll notice that there are not only decorative plants here, but there are some with medicinal purposes. And that's because our King and Queen, well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what they've done. Let's welcome to the stage our dancers at this time. here at the International Marketplace. And, you know, even if great friends like Martin Denny of Quiet Village and Don Ho, of course. But you know, folks, I gotta tell you a more important story. And for that, we go to the queen who had a home here. Her name is Queen Emma Kalaliwanalani Nayaruk. She was born on January 2nd, 1836. She was born to High Chief George Naya and High Chiefess Fanny Kekelo Kalaniyam, both of whom have familial connection to the Kamehameha dynasty. And in a very Hawaiian manner, our queen was Lawehanai'a. She was adopted to her mother's sister, High Chiefess Grace Young Rook, and her husband, Dr. Thomas Rook. And for this reason, our queen spent a lot of her youth helping her father in his medical clinic, tending to her people. I really gotta believe that this work inspired our queen to create that trust of which I was about to share. You know, when you are here enjoying yourself, eating, shopping, doing whatever you do, even makaikai, or just kind of looking around, having an excursion, please don't forget that none of this would be possible if it were not for our beloved queen and her legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you, portraying our beloved queen, the lovely Mrs. Leilani Kaho'ano. This is my favorite time of the show because the queen comes to life on stage and I get to tell you more about them. Now, I left off talking about the plants and I said that some of them had medicinal purpose. Now, what I need to tell you is the king and queen became the monarchs of Hawaii in their 20s, early 20s. And the king and queen, the first thing they did was think, how could they help their people into perpetuity? Oh, only if we had leaders like that today. Our beloved queen and king established a trust to take care of their people into perpetuity, like I said. Now, they were the first world leaders to do this. No other king or queen had done it. No other president, no other general secretary. In fact, none since, except for the Hawaiian monarchs. They established a trust that would take care of their people. This trust was going to build a hospital to take care of their people. The first level A trauma center in the entire Pacific region. And that hospital still stands 160 plus years later, thanks to the wisdom of our beloved queen. You know, when they did this, they went to the kingdom legislature and asked for help. And the legislature said, we cannot fund this hospital. So they had to go door to door, knocking and asking. Sometimes lucky people could give $1 160 years ago. That was a lot of money. Maybe 10 cents. Some couldn't give any money, so what did they do? They gave medicinal plants, and hence why they're here. Now, our king died young. Our queen was widowed at 29 years old. It didn't stop her from continuing to build that hospital. The king's older brother becomes Kamehameha V. He dies on his birthday without naming an heir. So the Hawaiian Kingdom Royal Legislature had to elect a king. They picked from among the highest ranking Ali'i royalty who could become sovereigns. This time they picked a cousin, William Charles Lunalilo, who happened to be the owner of this property. He died 13 months later without naming an heir. Hawaiian Kingdom Legislature was enacted again. This time our queen said, hey, I have the pedigree. She threw her name in the ring. And in order to do that, she decided to go throughout the islands and petition to become queen. She first traveled to Kauai, where she was greeted by hundreds of songs, chants in her honor, showing the people of Kauai supported her. In fact, one of those chants is inscribed right here in the glass atrium elevator. On to Maui, she was greeted by thousands of her people before her ship even docked. Huanua Kalehua Awikikai is captured. She then goes to Hawaii Island and ascends the world's highest volcano, Mauna Kea, where she swam in the world's highest lake, Lake Waiau, in a ceremonial bath. Descending the eastern slopes of Mauna Kea, going to a village called Kalapana, where they had a tradition of pulling down coconut trees to show that even nature bows to the royals. It is said the queen was arriving by horse when they had not yet pulled the tree down. She is recorded saying, these people are no better than I am no better than they are. And she jumps off her horse and reaches for the rope to grab it. They tell her, no, your majesty, you cannot do that. Let us pull the tree down, and when the leaves come close, you just touch it with one finger, and your power will bring it down. Well, that's how the story goes. Our queen did not win the election. Kalakaua becomes king, but our queen remains so beloved for her legacy. We have many songs that honor our queen, like this next one. Sadly, she succumbed to her second stroke at the age of 49. Here's a song called Kaulanano o Emalani. Famous indeed is Royal Emma. song that celebrates the legacy of our king's grandfather. His name was Kamehameha the Great, and he was the founder of the Hawaiian Islands and the Hawaiian Kingdom. Our beloved king, in his final words, he left a charge to his people. This song, Kanaiau Puni, captures this charge. The founder of the Hawaiian Kingdom, King Kamehameha the Great, passed away. Before he did, he left a charge to his people. He said, go forward and take upon yourself the responsibility of pono, balance, righteousness, for his was not complete. A charge we hold dearly to this current day. Thank you, friends, for joining us. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. celebrating the legacy of our beloved Queen, Queen Emma. And while you're here, those of you who are visiting, take time to learn more about our royalty. The home of our Queen still stands, and you can visit it. It's called Hanaya Kamalama. I know you're thinking, how am I going to remember that? How's this one? Queen Emma's Summer Palace. You can visit that. Now, that's not the large palace downtown. Please visit that also. This one is up the road a bit, and it houses many of the royal regalia of our Queen, as well as even things like the cradle that took care of our beloved young prince before he died. Now, while you're here, also take time to learn about the significance of Hawaii, that it was actually a world leader when it came to technology, literacy, education, and even treaties. We were a neutral nation. Learn the truth about the royal history of Hawaii and even the overthrow that happened. Mahalo nui for your time. Aloha nui.
ありがとうございました。
終わりよ。